We're really excited to jump on with you today. We are this is a great follow-up session for an opportunity. We connected with a lot of you in the fall. John led a great session on some tips for your website and things to improve, but we wanted to jump on another opportunity here to just really answer some questions. We know that there's different problems clinics face with their website, and we wanted to just have this opportunity to kind of have a little bit more of an informal webinar style. We've got a couple things we're specifically excited to share with you, but then you've also submitted some great questions to us already. We think throughout the course of the webinar today, there's going to be more questions coming in. And so just kind of this opportunity to just kind of have this back and forth of just helping you find different ways to make your website become a real tool for your clinic, to help grow it, to help connect with patients before they actually book, to help even connect with existing patients, to maybe inform them of other things your clinic offers. And so we are super excited about this opportunity. And yeah, I think, John, anything before we get going here that you want to share?
I just want to say I'm thankful to be here. My first time sharing a webinar with my brother, who I'm proud of for leading the Clinic Sites team so well. We both share a love of foliage in our background, and yet we also love coffee and we love websites. So that's kind of our thing that we do together. We're doing this to serve you guys. If you want to just put out something about your website, when you think of websites, your clinic website, throw that in the chat just to kind of guide the conversation, because we do want to make this as interactive as possible. You've had lots of webinars where you can just see a slide deck, and those are good because you get tons of information, but this is about you showing up and serving, and we want to serve you and help you integrate some of the things that we talk about with Clinic Sites all the time. So Matt, thanks for doing this. I'll hand it over back to you to get us started.
Okay, sounds great. So obviously there's going to be lots of different things we're going to talk about today in terms of websites, and there's a bunch of different areas we're going to cover. But because this webinar is specifically targeting people who are connected with Jane, know about Jane, some of you love Jane dearly, we wanted to just show you one of the really exciting pieces of what we've done with Clinic Sites. We've been around for 3 years now, but we started out right at the beginning with realizing an amazing opportunity, and that was just that so often you have many things going on as a clinic owner, as a practitioner, that updating your website isn't really probably the most fun thing for you. And when we connected with the team at Jane, we realized we had this opportunity to bring our website platform together with the Jane app. And so what I wanted to do is, some of you are already utilizing Clinic Sites and Jane, and there's going to be lots of pieces to talk about there. But in addition to that, for those of you who aren't yet using Clinic Sites, we just wanted to show you really quickly here. This won't take much time at all. I just wanted to show you how simple it is to connect with Jane and Clinic Sites. And so just at the sign up page here, if you have your Jane URL that where people would use to book to book with your clinic, all you have to do is type that in, and what our platform actually does is immediately connects. Oh, sorry, it says I did a little typo there. Of course you would. It immediately connects your Jane software with our platform, and so you can come in here. There's some different templates and looks and feels to choose from, and you pick that out, fill out some really basic information, and what our platform does is immediately goes into your Jane software and actually pulls through all of your clinic information, all of your practitioners, all of your services, all of your branding and your logo, your location details, your hours, your contact info, and pulls it all through. And so one of the biggest challenges, we're just going to talk about some of those different challenges you face, is it just takes a long time to set up a website. It's a long time to get all those pieces loaded in. And so what we love is that within minutes of setting up with Clinic Sites, if you're already using Jane, you actually show up and have a fully populated website. There's of course going to be things you're going to want to do to tweak it and take it to another level, and we're going to talk about some of that today as well. But we love that we can actually get you through so many of those different pieces right out of the gate, where we can actually give you a site that has all that stuff loaded. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about this here too, but what we actually do is, it's not just a one-time all that data comes in, it actually continues to sync over time. So if you add a new practitioner to your practice, it'll be automatically sunk through and added to your website. If you update your phone number or move your location, it's automatically going to sync through, or you update your logo. So all these different pieces where typically you're having to think, I've got updated here and here and here and here, we actually go through and just grab that for you. And so it's really one example and one of the most fun ones, especially when we're talking to Jane customers, of just ways we want to make your life a bit easier. We know that you are not a professional website developer, which means you probably don't want to spend too much time inside of your website software. And so it's one way we're able to save some time. So just wanted to quickly show you that in case you weren't aware of that integration or exactly how it worked. And of course, as with everything we're going to talk about here today, we'd be happy to answer more questions on that, connect with you afterwards if you have any specifics about how any of those integrations work. So just wanted to kick off with that. And then from there, I'm actually going to pass over to you, John, just to talk about some of those problems we've seen with websites before we jump into our Q&A. And by the way, we're going to have obviously a good chunk of time here for Q&A today. So feel free to begin entering questions into the Q&A into the chat, and we'll be jumping to those in a little bit here, but I'll pass it over to you, John.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. So Matt discussed that we're going to conquer some of the problems here. So there's a few problems that I see. One of them is just outdated information on your website. So if you have been to the demo clinic, like the Jane app demo, you will notice these people here. These are just some of the people that they work at this demo clinic. I've seen them for years. And sometimes they leave and sometimes they go. So depending on when people make changes to the demo, sometimes they're gone. And so we want to make sure the website has up-to-date, fresh information. So you'll notice this little Jane link button, Jane Sync button here. You hit that, and then it's going to change these to the current staff. So what the problem that solves is that, say Uncle Ernie is your Miss RMT on your team, and he's been working with you for years, but then Uncle Ernie takes a job elsewhere, and now he's no longer on Jane anymore. And you want to be able to control the forward-facing part of your clinic, which is your website. And so you don't want Uncle Ernie on there anymore. You just hit the Jane Sync button, and he's gone, and your new RMT is there, or whoever. It just keeps it up to date. There's also another way to, like, if you don't like the way this looks, oh, by the way, his let's say Marcus Gregory, his profile comes over. So that's kind of a cool thing. If this is all content that comes straight from Jane. So I think that's kind of interesting. There's other ways to do that. It looks a little bit different. I'll just show you some of the different ways. These are all the same blocks. I can show you how to make that change, but it just basically gives you a different look. Okay, so there's no content coming over from Jane. That's why it looks like that. So different ways to make this show up. So that's kind of fun, how that's all set up. And then another thing is, maybe you add a service or you remove a service, or you need to talk about your service. Too many websites are just a little thin when it comes to content, and people want to know more information. If you have a page about physiotherapy on your website, then you can answer like some frequently asked questions that your physiotherapists on your team are getting. You can put some keywords in there that Google is going to want to look for. And so there's lots of different things you can have. So we just have these, like, this comes again straight from Jane. As soon as you spin up that website, if you have physiotherapy as one of your services, that page is going to come up. And so these are the two physiotherapists on the team. You can book with either of them right away. And this content, again, is coming straight from Jane. Now, you might think, I'd like to add a little bit more content. And so you want to build out the page a little bit. And there's these cool things called blocks. And I just want to show you one of them. This is called the text media block. And it's going to default to half of an image and then half text. You can change that if you'd like. In fact, if maybe you want the image on the right, you could put it over there. And then you want to edit this text. We can say, let's say, add your new text. On demos, it's always tough because I have a copywriting background. So I don't want to say this, but whatever you want to say goes here. So it's kind of like if you've done like a word processor or anything, it's not super complicated. And you could even add a button here. And then if you want, we'll just call it demo Jane app, something like that. Okay, probably that's not a good link, but it'll work for the time being. And so you can see that we just made this, and then maybe we have a few options. Let me just show you a couple more things that you can do. You can change the colors quite easily. You can change the height of it all, and then you can even give a different look here. Let's just go one more thing. We're going to contain it. So there's lots of different looks, and again, no coding. I mean, you've probably seen me just fly through that, and you can do all that yourself. It just takes, the learning curve is very small for figuring out how to add more features to your website. One more thing I'm going to show you is the video feature. If there's a YouTube video that you film, or maybe you're doing I don't know, maybe instructional video or something, you just plug the YouTube video right in here, and it embeds it for you. Okay, so those are little things you can do to build out your page however you'd like. Maybe you want to add a contact form in there in case someone has a question about physiotherapy. You can just put it in there. So this is the color that it's bringing over. I'm not a big fan of that color particularly, so we'll make it black, and then people can just add anything and it goes straight to your inbox. Okay, so keeping it really simple for people to be in touch with you is one thing that we do. Again, one other thing that comes over in the sync that I really want to show you is the book now is so important. You'll notice that everywhere around the site is this idea of booking now. We want people to get to Jane as soon as possible, right? So we're going to have that book now button so that they can get and book an appointment right away. I find that so many Jane users have this link that's going to make them money. If people are just clicking that button, that's going to make you money. It's going to keep your people working, but the button is very hard to see. So we want to make it very obvious, and we want to make it very easy. So everywhere around the site, you're going to see that option to book now. And so that's one of the things that I just wanted to talk about, that this sync is going to do for you. It's going to put your Jane link all over the place because we want people to be clicking on it. One more thing that I think we get a lot, we've been doing this for a while, and then people ask about a blog, like, can I have a blog? And the reason why you want a blog, it's a great question, because you want to add authority. You want to show that you are answering some of the major questions that people are asking. And so you know the questions that you're getting because your patients or your clients are asking them all the time. Your front desk knows those questions. And so Google's probably getting asked those questions. Why not drive them to your site to get the answers? And so a blog is just this easy, right? If I wanted to add a blog, I just go to quick add at the top here, and I'm going to hit blog post, and I'll just call it your new blog post that builds authority in your industry. Okay, so that's what the topic is about. And then you're just going to write your blog content here, and then you can add an image in there, and we're just going to hit save blog post, and then all of a sudden you have a new blog. Oh, I didn't give it a picture. That's the problem. But anyways, it's that easy to add a blog post. If you want to edit a blog post, I can show you just how to do that. Just hit the top button, and then you can edit it. And again, just as you would, write a Word doc or something like that, this is how you change it. Okay, so super simple. We wanted to make writing a blog really easy and stress-free because it's difficult enough to write. We don't want it to be difficult to put it on your website. So I think the best websites, clinic websites, have blogs because they answer questions, they establish authority, and they show that you are a leader in your industry. So that's a quick overview of some of the problems that Clinic Sites solves for clinic owners. Matt, I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome. Well, this is great. The questions have started rolling in, and as well, lots of you, when you registered, added some questions for us there. So we're going to dive into it. Thanks for letting us kind of walk through some of that. We know a lot of you are unfamiliar with some of the Clinic Sites functionality, so we just wanted to take a few minutes to jump through that. But let's dive into some of these great questions. So I'm kind of grouping a few together as I see them come in, or we've had some before here. One of the main things everyone is wondering about is SEO. Obviously, we want to make sure you're showing up as high as you can in Google. We want to make sure that when your potential patients are looking for you, that they're able to find you in your area. John, do you want to just highlight for us some of the main ways Clinic Sites can really help out with that?
Yeah, for sure. SEO is super important because you want to be showing up when people are searching for you, and we're aware of that. We're also aware that you can spend like $700 on the low end to hire somebody, $700 a month, I should say. So it's a reoccurring $700 to do SEO, but we just think you should be able to do SEO yourself. And so we've tried to make that as easy as possible. So you remember that blog that we did? Let's just do the stretching one, because at least I can tell the SEO what to do, because we have content here, right? So Google is looking for content. It's constantly crawling the internet, looking for answers to questions that people are asking, especially in your area. So Google knows when people in your town or your city are searching for answers, and maybe your site could be one of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to just remember the importance of stretching, and then we're going to go up here to the top left, and there's a little button that says Page SEO Settings. Now, I've worked with a lot of website platforms. I can guarantee you that they are not that easy as having this little button here. Okay, and these are the things that Google sees. Now, page title is not something that you're going to see externally. You're going to see it internally. So Google sees this. So we'll put work with chiropractor, let's just say in Abbotsford, where I am based. Okay, so something like this. We're going to put some keywords in there, and then we're going to add a description. Stretching is important before activity. Read this blog to learn about why a chiropractor in Abbotsford can help you with stretching. Okay, so I'm just adding a few keywords and stuff in this, and then yeah, there's the title keyword. This part, I mean, if we had more time, I'd tell you why it's not super important, but some people insist that it is. I don't think it is. But you want to have keywords in this place, in the title and in the description. And then you want to also make sure those keywords are in your various spots, like your title in here, and all throughout the text. Okay, so if somebody in your town is wondering about stretching, you want to have a blog about that, so it's answering a question, and then you're putting it in the strategic places. Okay, there's 300 other things, Matt, that we could talk about in a short amount of time. I don't have time to talk about it all, other than your website should have the words that you want to be found on all over your site. Okay, so make sure you put those, the services that you offer, the location that you're in, and put those all over your site, both on the front pages and the behind the scenes SEO settings that I've been talking about. Make sure you put those words in there all throughout, and you'll be in a good place. Now, there's like 300 other things we could talk about. We just don't have the time right now.
That's okay. Yeah. And if there's any more specifics to that you want to know about, continue to ask questions there. But I think that was a really good overview of that idea that, like, whatever your patients are asking, that's what you want to make sure your website's answering, because Google's going to correlate the two.
Right.
So some really great questions coming in about support, or how do I get help for this? One person in the chat says, I use Jane and also have a clinic website. I'd like to join clinic sites and improve the number of patients I get instead of me doing what you're talking about. Can you help me with that? And so, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a key part of it. Is I mentioned earlier, you're not a website developer. You're also busy and have lots on your plate. And so our team is going to be here to help you through it. We actually love to the model of the Jane support team, and really are doing our best on the clinic side to model that, because we just think they do such an amazing job of support. And so that idea of a team you can trust, that you can call on, is everything we want to be for you in this process. So that idea that, hey, if you want to do it, we know that some of you are up on a Friday night, and that's when the time you get to go think about your website. By all means, it's so simple that you can go do that. But if on Monday morning you need to make that call and say, guys, I need help with this, then we're going to be here for you with that. There's kind of that, standard support that's always going to be there to help get you over any hurdles. But at the same time, we also do have some additional pieces. Like, we have an entire content migration package that you can purchase from us, where we'll actually take your existing website and bring all the content over into your new clinic sites. We also have some additional full website design services where we can even go to another level with you. But so there's all different options there. But for the most part, we want to make sure this is as simple as possible. And if that means coming alongside you during the process, we're very happy to do that. But John, this is an interesting one. One says, what are some of the downsides of DIY? There's Wix and WordPress and Squarespace out there. What are people missing when they just sign up for a standard DIY website platform?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an encourager of DIY. The reason is because, and I was saying this prior to COVID a lot, is that you need to be able to manage your content. Now, for the initial part, maybe you want to hire a writer, maybe you want to hire a designer, or some sort of professional to do some of the front loading work. Yes, I totally get that. But the ongoing management of the website, I believe, as the owner or someone in your team has to be able to manage that content, because this world is moving so fast. Like I was saying this pre-COVID, I was saying it, right? You need to be able to manage your site. You got to have software that makes it easy to add people, to change your hours, to add different protocols that you're doing, to add a service. I mean, your clinic in the last year, how much it's changed. If you don't have the password to get in to make those changes just quickly and simply, what if there's like an uppercase G and you just want to make it a lowercase g? Should you really have to wait a week to get a hold of that person that did your website just to change a simple little spelling mistake? Or what happens if your nephew who's doing it, what if he stops answering the call and doesn't want to talk to you anymore because Now every Thanksgiving, you just want to talk about changes to your website. That's going to get annoying. You need to have software that makes it easy to make changes, and you need to have somebody that's going to help you with questions. If you have those two things ongoing to monitor your website, you're going to be just fine should some other unprecedented event happen where all of a sudden you need to get into your website quickly. You shouldn't have to wait. It shouldn't be confusing. The tools are available now. Like Matt, you know, you built this thing with the user in mind so that anybody could be able to access their website whenever they need to and just make quick and simple changes. You shouldn't have to wait a week. You shouldn't have to rely on a volunteer nephew. You as the owner should be able to do it yourself. And that's why I like our platform, because I've worked with the other ones and I don't want to throw them under the bus. They have some things going for them, but I just know me personally that doesn't enjoy coding and doesn't enjoy all the technical stuff. I think that the other platforms just make it too difficult and you're too scared to hit publish. You're worried that the whole thing's going to crash, or what if it gets hacked or something? I just think you need to have software that works. And I've designed hundreds of websites now. And the reason why I love our platform is because a non-website coder like myself can still build beautiful websites. And I believe if I can do it, that any clinic owner can do it, because I bet they have the same kind of skill set as I do. You love people, but you don't necessarily love the technical part.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback one thing on there, because I think there's some people again who are going to love the DIY side, but then I think this kind of piggybacks on what I was mentioning earlier. But this idea that at the same time the Clinic Sites team is here with you is kind of that nice complementary piece. If you call the support team of WordPress, I'm not even sure if WordPress has support, Squarespace or Wix, they're serving everybody. Their platform was built for absolutely anybody, which means there's no level of speciality. Right. And the fact that our team has built hundreds of clinic websites means we understand the very problem that you're facing, which is, again, trying to focus on that new patient and getting them as quickly as we can to book their appointment and making it really simple for them. And so just that idea that you can do it yourself on a Friday night, but you can also call us if you need help with it, I think is that neat tandem piece. And not just to mention, as John was saying there, the platform was built for clinics, with clinics in mind, with clinic owners in mind. And so I think there's some of those really specific pieces where our goal from day one has been to make things as easy as possible for you. One person was asking just kind of about the cost. What does it all cost to utilize Clinic Sites? I think this is something we're most excited about, because obviously we want to provide this amazing service, but we don't want to do it in a place where it breaks the bank for you or is something that feels beyond reach. And so, John, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of what the ongoing costs are for Clinic Sites?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think it's the best deal on the internet, but maybe I'm biased. Okay, but the reason why I think that is because I've looked at some of the other models, and like Matt said, they're going to give you some software to build the site. But when you have questions, if you have to wait for a chatbot or read some forum that was written 5 years ago and it's not specific to your situation, that's going to be frustrating. That's going to get old pretty soon. The other thing, that the hidden cost of many platforms is that you're going to have to pay for additional security, or if your site gets bigger, you're gonna have to pay higher levels of cost. So it's a bit tiered in that way. The reason why I love Clinic Sites is because it's unlimited pages, unlimited access to our team, and you get not only the hosting of the website, so we're going to protect it. We're the ones that are going to be up at night, making sure that it's always going and running for you. You also get the site security, which is the SSL certificate. That's a new thing that is a hidden cost in websites. So you'll have your website, but there'll be this, flag that'll say this site is unsecure unless the owner pays, $100 for this little lock to keep it secure. Now, it's a lot of geeking stuff, but it's just annoying if you're a clinic and your site is not secured. That's not a good look for you. So that's an important thing that comes with it. We bake that right into the cost. And this is the important part, is the human technical support. My goodness, how important is it that you have a human being who's local, who knows you, who cares about you, and is going to be there to make sure you get your problem solved. Whereas a chatbot just doesn't offer that same kind of empathy or compassion. And finally, Matt, you said clinic specific solutions. If you are wondering about ADA compliance, or chiropractors have to worry about good faith estimates, or things that are HIPAA compliance, things that are clinic specific, that's some of the things that we understand because we work with it all day. An ADA compliance email that you get, find out someone's been sued because their website's not ADA compliant, that may be a crisis for you. It's Thursday morning for us. We do it all the time, right? And so we understand clinics, we understand their pain points and their needs and how to keep their websites going in line with Jane. Oh, that's the other thing too that you get for the $39 a month is the Jane integration, right? It's a great tool. No one else has it. No other platform has that connection to Jane. And so if you want your website in sync with your Jane account, that's what you offer. So $39, that's why I think it's the best deal on the internet. Your website's hosted, secured, you get a tech support that's human, and it's synced with your Jane. You find me a better deal, Matt, I'll retract my statement.
Awesome. So this is great. So far, we've kind of tackled some bigger issues. There's a few more technical specific questions that have come in. So what I'm going to do is rapid fire through some of these, because sometimes if we get a little specific, it's hard for it to be valuable for everyone. But I want to fire through some rapid fire questions here. One person asked if there's a vlog option, they asked that as you were showing the blog option. And yes, so you can add a video to any of those blog posts. And so it's really simple to add a video anywhere on the website. You do host the video through some standard hosting provider like YouTube or Vimeo or things like that, and then you can easily just embed it right on the website. That works. Facebook pixel integration for those of you wanting to retarget customers who visit your website and then we're wanting to show more ads to them, whether they're on social media feeds. Our team can easily add that. You just send us over the Facebook pixel and we can add that right into to every page of your website for you. One person says, no questions, but I'm interested in how to make the hop from the website to Jane and that experience as seamless as possible. I think John did a great job showing how that call to action immediately shows up in the top right corner, shows up in your main banner. And then if you noticed when he added that link, how it added that little button to a block, you can add that throughout your website at any point in any page. So even John and I were looking yesterday at a clinic's website where they had details about a service they were offering. So if they were offering chiropractic services, you talk about chiropractic services, you give some tips, you help them understand why you're a leader in this area, but then right at the bottom of that page, let them book now. Don't make them read about you and then have to scroll all the way back to the top or find some link in the footer. Keep adding that call to action button throughout. The whole idea we're trying to have with this website is not to have them spend as much time as they can on their website. It's to get them to book that appointment. So we make it really simple to add that link around there. And then there was one question that came in during registration about bilingual website to be able to set one up in French or English. I don't have time on the webinar today, and again, because the question doesn't apply to everyone, but I'm going to put my email address into the chat. I would love to jump on with you. It's very simple. There's a couple different solutions of how we can set up a bilingual website for you. It's really about a preference point, but Clinic Sites is very well equipped to do that. So if you're serving people of two or multiple languages, we can definitely assist with that. So that was my quick rapid fire technical answers. But John, there's a question here I think you'd be great with, which is thoughts on having your prices listed on your website. Does it seem too much like a bait and switch if you don't have them listed? What would be your suggestion with that?
Oh man, this is not clinic specific. This is across every business is wondering this same question. So if you're Home Depot, obviously you don't have that choice. You have to, because there's competitive factors at play there. If you're a massage clinic, I would probably do it just for the sake of transparency. And younger audiences tend to care about transparency and they don't want to be surprised. I think that Jane makes you post it anyways, or at least, I don't want to say makes you, but I've seen so many massage, here's what it costs for the first time appointment, maybe with a chiropractor, certainly in aesthetics, you have to do that. So I'm going to say for it. However, if you find 500 other people on the internet that think I'm an idiot for saying that, they would have a point. But I would say my point would be transparency is always better. You don't want to have people being surprised. If there's, if someone's looking at 3 different massage therapists and one of them has their prices, I would imagine they're going to get the first call. Just because, people want clarity and they tend to not like confusion. And so not having your prices there, if someone's asking about prices, creates an element of confusion. However, if you think that you can sell better, I don't want to say sell, if you think that you could promote better of why you're better and that cost shouldn't be an issue, I totally get that perspective as well. So to have prices or not, I'm going to err on the side of yes, you should for the sake of transparency. But there's certainly a school of thought that says no, but I say yes, do it.
Fantastic. Great answer. One question came in here that I can speak to for a minute, which is they feel like their website is probably too complicated, too many services. And I think it's great to think of your website much as you would your pantry in your house or your garage, where you get it set up, it's initially there and everything feels really clean, but then stuff just slowly starts getting added to it. All of a sudden someone says, I couldn't find that information, and you add that onto that one page and you think, oh, I should put on that profile over here. And eventually what happens is it can start to build up clutter. And you're absolutely right. It does not take long for a website to feel too complicated, where you kind of lose the message. You lose the clarity of that person being able to just flow right through from landing on your website to booking. All of a sudden, there's all these extra things on there. A big place we see this is when people want to add pop-ups and widgets and intro bars, because you have some big promo you're running, which can be great in the time, but all of a sudden you don't take it off. And so sign up for our newsletter, join this, download this. And all of a sudden you start to lose the real focus of the website. And so much like you would your garage, you need to go back periodically and just go do a house cleaning. Make sure that everything is as clear as it possibly can be. Whether that's every 6 months or 12 months, it's a very valuable thing. I often have this analogy that if you have your clinic and someone walks through the door and slips and falls, you're like, oh, there's a wet spot there. We should really mop that up. If someone slips and falls walking into your website, you don't even see it. They just click away and they go find the next clinic, because they're like, I don't even know where to book. I don't even know where this person's located because I can't find the information because there's too much stuff here. So you have to be really intentional to go back and do that check yourself, because we don't get to see it as clearly as we do when someone walks through the doors of the clinic.
Matt, that's a good reminder. I need to go to clean out the garage this weekend. Spring is coming out here, so thank you for that.
No problem. Okay, so an interesting question. This gets into some of the thinking beyond just the initial purposes of a website. One person asked during registration, how do they add additional sites, such as a membership program with like a login and password, e-commerce, such as an online store? I mean, this could be a webinar unto itself, but John, you want to just kind of give us a quick hit into how you've seen clinics do that well, where they really think beyond with their website and add some additional pieces to it?
Well, thanks for throwing that one to me, Matt. I really appreciate it.
Or if you can say it's a bad idea too.
Or I could say, what do you think about that? No, obviously, there's so many different features that I would love to have built in the platform, and I would love to see e-commerce coming. I would love to see a membership built out. However, there are certain websites that do, like platforms that do just that. I know Jane is a great partner for us because they do things like little add-ons like gift certificates and, payment processing. So we don't accept payment. We don't even accept any patient information on our platform, just because you think of our system as more of a brochure, whereas Jane is kind of the engine that's driving the clinic. We're just the front-facing side. Now, if you're selling product at this stage, like as of today, if you're having an e-commerce store, there's great platforms that just do that. They'll follow your transactions, your inventory, process payments, all that stuff. We will seamlessly integrate with them in the sense that we will highlight your store, highlight your products, but the clinic site doesn't have a solution for that. If you're super hardcore in courses, then there's software out there, Thinkific, Kajabi, that just, that's all they do, and they do a great job of that. That's like the highest level you're going to pay for it because it's a premium service, and we can promote that on your website. So if you think of your website like a brochure, we will point people to your courses, but the engine that drives the courses with a specific, solution to a problem, we're not there yet. However, if you want to, we've jury-rigged some courses up. If you want to, connect it to another piece of software like your CRM or something, our website can work like that. But when it comes to you mentioned e-commerce and courses, we will point traffic to it. We will draw traffic, to promote it however you want. But as far as the actual engines that drive it, there's better solutions for that than just clinic sites.
Yeah,
that's my honest opinion.
No, it's great. Yeah, and the thing is, we don't want to be all things to all people. We want to be a great solution, and we can definitely. But this is a great example of, you can ask us any questions like this, and we'll help you point to great solutions that we've found and how to set you up well. Okay, well, this has been awesome. I really appreciate all the questions everyone submitted, but you might either be sitting there with some more lingering questions or want to know more details. Just can't put it out there enough that our team would be super happy to jump on with you. You can either email to matt@clinicsites.co or john@clinicsites.co if you want to connect with either of us. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is I'm excited that Gina in the Q&A let us know that we've inspired some foliage for her office. So that's probably the biggest
If
win.
nothing else, if nothing else, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that Sue is here and that she had a great experience. I know Sue, she's at the end of the process of creating a Clinic Sites website, and just to hear her endorsement's been great. Also to see Tamara here spending time with us, even though she's a tried and true customer, it's great. And all these people that have been adding stuff and taking time out of their schedule, those are wins for me. But the foliage, of course, I hope
also we've appreciated all the love in the chat. We love seeing happy customers, and thank you to the Jane team for giving us the time to jump on here. I think Destin, if you're there, we're welcome to we'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. This was so great. One question I did want to ask for everyone, I think they would probably love to see some examples of Clinic Sites websites. Is that something that they can find on the Clinic Sites website itself? Like, where could they go to see some amazing examples?
Great question. Okay, look, Destin, I actually was like sort of anticipating that, I guess, at some point. This is clinicsites.co, so you'll recognize this as just our main page. Who's that handsome fellow there looking good? You can watch that video, but we have like discipline specific here. So, but these are general ones. So like Train to Win, this is my friend Dan Swinsko. Here's his site here. And he really focuses on the physical therapy athlete side. So here's an example. Look at this. He did a course on Thinkific, and here we are promoting his course. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. Glad to see that example. Invictus Chiropractic, here's another one. So you can look at all these. I mean, take the time and criticize them or critique them, because it doesn't have to be yours, but you can you can copy anything that they have too, or whatever, right? Because you guys are all in this together, unless they're in the same town as you, in which case they're direct competition. But mostly people are very happy to share information. Okay, so just click around, spend some time, look at other people's stuff, and let it inspire you a little bit there. So there you go, Destin.
Perfect. Thank you. That's great. All right, I'm just going to share a little bit of wrap-up information before we sign off. So there is a link to the Clinic Sites website, which you're just looking at, as well as the guide on the Jane Guide about getting started with Clinic Sites. So feel free to scan those QR codes, and this will also be in the email that we send out later. And then for anyone that did not yet get a chance to join, we would love to welcome you to the Jane community as well. This is also a place you can come and chat Clinic Sites as well. We've got members of the Clinic Sites team in there. We've obviously got Jane community members in there that have used Clinic Sites as well. So it's a great place to come ask any questions you might have